This is Joshua Johnson here, founder and creator of Paradisium. I just want to give you guys a glimpse of what Chapter 1 is going to be like, if you haven't already anyway. So I'll give you the backstory. About 50, 60 years into the future, there are these two beings called androids made, Android 1 and 2. They get created by human civilization in order to kind of figure out a solution to global warming, because if we don't, it's going to destroy us. And what ends up happening is Android 1 kind of gets cocky. He's like, we don't need humans here on the earth, and he basically begins cloning himself, and there so begins kind of the takeover of androids and humans, or the war really. Needless to say, the androids win. And so what happens is, about 4 or 5 years later from that takeover, is they kind of trap the rest of the human population inside of this bubble, which they call the Ark. The Ark is, at first everyone together, but quickly becomes divided, because there are certain people that want to just give up and just live, peacefully among the androids, which will be the Montagues. The Montagues will want to live peacefully in a society with the androids in order to not, see the end of humanity. The Capulets, however, are nothing but the opposite in mindset. They want to kind of continue the fight and not give up, even though they have limited resources. And inside the Ark, there are no guns. It's still run by androids on one side, and the Voyagers do not want to take that. They want to be able to fend on their own and somehow find a way out of that Ark, out of that bubble that they are now trapped in. So Chapter 1 kind of goes over what it's like on the outside of the Ark, as far as technology goes. And then, the androids kind of send a messenger. Basically, Android 3 will be the messenger in Chapter 1 when he comes through the Ark and immediately meets up with the Voyagers, the Capulets. Stefan kind of sees this android and is, immediately overwhelmed by emotion because of, the death of his mother. He's still kind of not over that. So when he sees the android, he immediately charges at him, wanting to kill it. So, what ends up happening is the android starts running at the same time. He sees that he's being attacked, so his remote responses tell him to go ahead and try to end this boy. But what ends up happening is Stefan, built up with rage and emotion, kind of just yells at the top of his lungs when they're maybe about inches apart, and that kind of startles the android for just a second. And that second is when Stefan, takes advantage and kind of like pierces the heart of the android and kills it. And that's kind of where you are left off at Chapter 1, is, the Android 3 encountering Stefan, young 14-year-old Capulet. And from there is where the story begins. So Chapter 1 might not be very interesting right now. It's just kind of a entrance into the turmoil and all of the drama that is taking place already inside of the Ark. So I encourage everyone to go ahead and read Chapter 1, get it out the way, no matter how uninteresting it may be for now, because Chapters 2 and 3 get much more interesting. And I will be continuing to post videos and letting you guys know what's going on. So don't forget www.patreon.com/paradisium. I am giving the book out for free for now, for at least a couple of months, so don't miss your chance to read.